gentlemen. Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Well, good Thursday morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, everybody watching online on YouTube and Twitch. This is the Early Bird Special. I am Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for, because it's a ton.
Oh, we're going to talk a little college sports. We'll talk some baseball, obviously. We got to get into the Elijah Arenas. We got Kenny Calvin, the voice of BC football, joining us at 8 o'clock. And we'll have some NFL news breaking this morning. Sounds like Justin Fields, Jets starting quarterback, left the practice field this morning with an injury. I think we're trying to get more information out of that, but we'll keep you posted.
Can this just start any worse if you're a Jets fan? I know a lot of Jets fans were coming into this with a lot of hope. I mean, you're led by a dang near all Buckeyes offense, including Justin Fields. Hopefully this isn't something that's super strenuous on him, or it keeps him out for a long time, but it's an apparent lower leg injury.
Off.
Yeah, he's carted off, so it doesn't look good.
No.
And just signing a 2-year, $40 million contract with the team.
It was a non-contact injury. Wow.
So, well, we know what this means. And again, I think there's going to be outcries for this, so I'm just going to be the first one to do it. I'm going to call it that the turf or whatever the heck they're practicing on is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it. I don't know. I've never been there, never played on it, never practiced on it. I couldn't tell you. But from what we've seen in the past and the gripes that we have heard from players from the last couple years, we saw Yarin go down with the same situation. Now Justin, and this is even before the season starts. Looks like Kirk Cousins may have found a new home. I'm just saying.
That might be. I didn't think about that.
And I'm going to call it right now. He's going to have a problem if he goes there. You need to fix the turf situation. I'm calling it. I don't know exactly what happened. We are waiting for video or whatever to actually know how this all came to be. But a non-contact injury, he's been carted off. It's been said it's a lower leg. We all know what this means, or at least what it's leading to. Unfortunate situations and unfortunate happenings for the starting quarterback out there in New York. But
I would say either Kirk or Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, if Jameis doesn't end up beating Russ Wilson out for his spot, because
does not look like it.
I don't think so either. But at this point, I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on with New York, because Jackson Dart's going around saying that he wants an Eli Manning-like career.
we all do.
Good luck with that, my friend. I've seen you play in college. You're very talented, don't get me wrong. But Eli Manning, that's a pretty high bar for setting for yourself, especially in New York.
And he didn't start out camp very well.
No, he did not. But I'm a firm believer, though. Yeah,
I will say, I will back that.
And
I know what you're going to say, but it's practice.
I would rather my rookie make those mistakes in camp.
Yeah, and I want him to try to make those throws to see what he's got.
Right, exactly. And I'd rather you have the chutzpah to test yourself against these defenses and make those mistakes in camp, so your coach can look at you and say, "What you do wrong?" And then you can fix it. And hopefully you don't make that mistake in a game.
As we've both coached football.
So, yeah.
That's what we want.
You want to make those mistakes at practice.
I want to see that arm strength. I want to see if you could fit that in the small spots.
Right. Now, that doesn't mean you don't want to see the adjustments in practice as well.
That's the next day.
But, yeah, exactly. Give himself some time. I'm just saying, setting yourself up a bar that high of Eli Manning-like career, let's relax for a sec. But going back to the Jets, how do you feel like this is going to affect them and their offense? Because it looked like they were going to base this all around Justin's ability to run and get the ball out to these guys who he has great chemistry with. Now you're going to have to bring in a guy who's not going to have that chemistry and start all over again.
It's going to be a rough one. I mean, I'm not a Jets fan, obviously. I'm a Dolphins guy in and out, but I never want somebody to, I'm not the old school like my dad who's like, break his neck. break his neck. I want competition.
Right.
And I wanted to see, when my team plays the Jets, I want them to be 100%.
Right.
Obviously, I want to beat the best of the Jets. And it's always sad. Hopefully it was just something minor, but if they're carting him out, it looks serious. And I mean, it's one of those things that the NFL has got to find a middle ground, because a lot of injuries happen during camp. And I don't know if it's because the limited amount of practice that they've cut down to, or even the limited amount that they could do with pads. I know the players have been complaining about it for the last couple of years, but overall, I mean, hopefully he can shake it off, and it's not as serious as it sounds, and he's ready for week 1. But to turn back, there was several players that dropped with injuries yesterday, some serious ones. And, I just hope that his injury is fine and that he could shake it off. But I think you're right. I think they're going to have to start looking at other options. And it's probably going to be
serious. And the Jets were very much looking to make strides this year and at least be competitive in the AFC. I don't know what you do now, but I do think that they're starting to make some phone calls to teams and say, "Hey, you like that backup quarterback you got there? Because we need one."
And that goes into something I had read over the night, that the Browns, with the 4 quarterbacks that they're trying,
put Deshaun on the PUP list.
They said this is not going to be a long training camp battle, that they want to have their quarterback one as of, the next week or two.
Yeah. And I think they're going to get it. Honestly, I think that you have seen enough from all 4 of these guys that you could probably make a solid assessment of who can be the starter for you. It's not going to be Deshaun Watson. I've been honest. I've been upfront about it. I don't know exactly how long you keep that charade up. I really don't. I don't know exactly what Cleveland's waiting on. I mean, you're going to have to pay the guy either way. So it's either drop him or keep him. But I'd say you need to just cut off that limb whenever you can.
I'm just wondering if maybe it's Flacco or somebody like that.
I still believe Flacco is going to be the choice just because of his experience.
If they can get some type of trade picks or compensation and trade him off to the Jets,
that could also be an
option too. So
I mean, Kenny Pickett could also be a possibility to be moved, depending on who they want to move off of. Or if the Jets want to go young, Dylan Gabriel's always there. The only one that I don't see Cleveland moving on from would be Shedeur.
Yeah,
because Shedeur has the most upside, and to be honest with you, you got him at a bargain price, and Cleveland will take anything right now for a quarterback that has some sort of allure to him, because that keeps eyes on the football team. I'm just saying that there are options across the league right now that they could go to. I mean, outside of Kirk Cousins and Jameis Winston as well, but at this point, it's just a really bad start to camp. I feel bad for the Jets organization, because I'm not going to lie, I was very curious to see what was going to happen with this offense and how Justin was going to be able to turn this around and possibly reignite his career after a great showing in Pittsburgh last year. And now we're hopefully not. I mean, God knows that maybe this is all just, we're blowing this up and it's not that bad. Maybe he just tweaked a knee and they were just making sure he wasn't, going to make it worse. They have Tyrod Taylor taking over, who's also a proven quarterback in the league. I don't know if he stays there at the starting quarterback position, though, especially with guys like Kirk Cousins available. I'm just throwing it out there. Atlanta would probably love to get that deal done at this point.
It's insane.
It's really just, you're going to have to eat up a contract probably, or figure out a way that it benefits both of you mutually. But I feel like Kirk Cousins going to New York and being the starting quarterback there would probably be the best option for the Jets. And Atlanta as well, to get that out of there and get something out of that at the same time. So we'll see how this develops over the next couple minutes and the next couple hours. But at this point right now, Justin Fields doesn't look good, was carted off the practice field if you're just joining us. And the Jets are most likely going to be shopping here the next couple hours. So do you want to get to the other injuries before we get to a break?
Oh,
because I mean, we had a ton of them yesterday, and I know your Dolphins camp was hit majorly yesterday.
Well, it was tough. I know Arizona's first-round pick defensive end, Walter Nolan III, is now set to miss the start of training camp, and it's looking like with the calf injury that it might carry over into the season, which is always a tough thing. But yes, with the Dolphins, not only Artie Burns, the big cornerback that they took from Pittsburgh this offseason, he went down with the one of the first plays in camp yesterday, but also Dolphins Bayron Matos was airlifted to after a scary camp injury. 6'7" former basketball player. He was actually an undrafted player that we had on the practice squad last year. Obviously, he's not a big, starter, but they were trying to develop him into, one of those big boys on the offensive line. Last I heard that he was still in the hospital, but it's not looking good football wise.
When's the last time you heard of somebody being taken by air out of a practice field? That must have been scary.
Especially a big 6'7".
That's what I'm thinking in my head. It's like he had to have been. It's probably a lower leg injury as well, but that's just absolutely terrifying. Hopefully, he is healing, and obviously, all of that and prayers and whatnot go to him and his family. But there's been a handful of injuries in football and basketball because we have to talk about Elijah Arenas as well, who's had probably the most. I don't even know how to put it. This kid's had the worst luck this summer. He just had a car crash situation with a Tesla truck that supposedly, I don't mean that as if I don't believe him, but the story that we've heard is that the truck lost control. The dash went out on him and he crashed, had to be taken to the hospital and put into a coma to get through the smoke that he inhaled during that. Now has a torn meniscus and will be out 6 to 8 months in the first practice back with the team at USC. When you talk about some really bad luck when it comes to injuries, why do you think we're having such an increase when it comes to these ligament and joint injuries? Because it's not something that is really new per se to sports. I mean, we've always heard of ACL and MCL tears and meniscus tears and stuff like that, but it is at an all-time high now. I know they're obviously doing some research into this, especially in the basketball area, because it's happening far too often to stars. But do you think that there's just, do you really believe that it's just the practice level that these guys are at, or maybe just their lifestyle changes that are leading to these injuries?
I mean, it's probably a little of everything. Whether it's, I know when it comes to the Jets, I know a lot of the football side of it, it seems it is the turf. I know several players. I mean, we can ask Kenny Calvin as well. He's a former football player, and I'm sure he's dealt with some injuries. But when it comes to basketball, that one is kind of a head scratcher because I don't know if it's their conditioning, their long season, or, trying to go hard when they've kind of been battling little small injuries throughout the season. I don't know if it's that or, like I said, the conditioning, or it could be the long seasons, but I mean, it's not like the NBA just extended the season. I mean, this is something that they've been used to as professional athletes.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's a mixed bag, but they've definitely got to do the research for the health of their athletes.
I'm wondering if it's not the opposite of, but I'm sorry, let me choose this carefully. They aren't prioritizing rest in certain situations, right?
Yep.
Like you have a lot of, especially in the basketball world, AAU players and stuff. And I know I'm not the first one to bring this up, but the longevity of playing these basketball games and these seasons for so long and travel ball and stuff like that. I know a lot of these kids don't get rest as much as they used to. So they don't prioritize it at a young age, which means they won't prioritize it at an older age either, when your body desperately needs it. When you're younger, your body can bounce back really quickly, even off of some small energy. When we're older and your body starts to decay more and all of that, I think that you need to prioritize rest a lot more, especially as athletes. So maybe that's the issue, and the joints just can't keep up with the just pure amount of play and training that it takes to be an athlete these days, which is why we're seeing the ligament tear so much. But there has to be some sort of fundamental change in the athletic lifestyle that is causing these injuries, because they're non-contact, right? I mean, we look at football. I would understand if someone had tackled Justin awkwardly and we had a Joe Theismann like situation. God willing, never have that again, but you know what I mean. That is something that obviously you need to do. You make small changes in the game or small changes in the pads or something like that to protect the people or to protect the players more. I would get that, but these are more non-contact situations, stuff that just happens when they're practicing. Basketball players, you're jumping up for a dunk and your knee just gives out on you, or something of that nature. So it has to be something of, you're not either giving your body ample rest and nutrients to keep up with itself, or just the lifestyle change that you're dealing with that your body can't keep up with it. That's the only thing that I could think of logically. But I mean, again, not a doctor, not pretending to be one on the radio, just kind of throwing my thoughts out there. What do you guys think? 661-842-2000. Why do you think that there's so many lower leg injuries and non-contact injuries in sports right now? And what do you think needs to come out of it? Do we need to make adjustments to these athletes' lives, maybe lower the games and give them more rest time? I'm not exactly sure what we do to fix it, but it is going to become a bigger problem as we keep going if we don't find some sort of just remedy for this. And with star players going out, I know Justin Fields isn't exactly a superstar, although everybody was very curious about what his career could become now that he was a starter with the Jets. So I would say he was a star out there. We're losing more and more stars to these lower leg injuries. It's sad to see. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't think you guys want to see it anymore. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Maybe we could figure out something together. 661-842-2000. We'll take a break, though, real quick, pay some bills. This is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. My favorite Metallica song. Unpopular opinion. Fuel is still the best. This is the early bird special. I'm Chris Burdick. That's Sparky. And let's move off some injury news. A little depressing, obviously. Hate starting the show like that. But we have some good baseball news we can get to. We'll start with the Dodgers. Were able to come back and beat the Twins yesterday 4-3 to win their first series in quite some time, behind a single from Freddie Freeman in the ninth. One thing I have to say, sidebar, if you follow me on social media at Bird1517, feel free to add me if you would like. You saw the video that I'm going to soon allude to. Someone got to tell Kike he's on TV. Someone has got to tell Kike Hernandez, you're on television, bruh. Why are you double fisting popsicles like that? Yeah, I love Josh Hart's reaction to it too. That's exactly what I thought. I won't even go into it. Just go look it up if you would like. It just wow, Kike.
I like it. Why not?
No, absolutely. I'm not saying enjoy your popsicle in your day off. Although I know a lot of traditional Dodger fans that weren't happy about that at all. They were very, very uppity about it. Not that it matters. The guy's not playing, so who cares? It's a hot day. Let him have a popsicle. Right. I'm more saying, bud, you're double fisting and going at it at those things, bro. Like, what is going on in the Dodger dugout? Like, and the fact that the Dodger broadcasting team focused on it for a solid 5 minutes too, which was hilarious. But regardless, Dodgers looking good. You win your first series in quite some time, and you're headed to take on the Red Sox in Fenway. You're welcome, because we just beat up on them for you.
Ohtani's 5th home run in a row.
Yep. 5th game with a home run in a row. Record is 8. Last person to do it was Ken Griffey Jr. back in the 90s. I'm going to say this. If there is any man on this planet that could hit a home run in 8 straight games, a home run in 10 straight games, it's Shohei Ohtani. So
if he gets to 6, it'll be a franchise record.
My only concern is the same concern that Dodger fans are probably thinking in the back of their heads. When he pitches, he usually doesn't hit the ball. There's something that's going on. Although Dave Roberts has kind of tweaked it a little bit, letting him go second in the lineup finally. Give him a little bit of rest. Although he doesn't get to sit down, he at least gets to, stand in the batter's box for a second, take a breather. I would say he can get there. I'm surprised that, honestly, we haven't had a slugger get there since the 90s. But Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge are the first 2 people in my head that could easily eclipse that. We will see what we will see in their first game against the Red Sox. Maybe it goes over the Green Monster. Maybe it doesn't. But the Red Sox right now aren't playing great baseball, so you're looking pretty good if you're a Dodger fan. The other 2 highlights that we have to talk about, let's move over to the other team in the West that, of course, Dodger fans don't want to hear about, but we got to talk about something pretty crazy. Justin Verlander got his first win of the season yesterday. Yes, you heard me correctly. Justin Verlander did not have a single win in 17 starts for the Giants. Finally got his first win. He was 0-8. They pick up the win yesterday, 9-3, with a rain delay looming. That's what was funny. In the 4th inning, they were actually thinking about putting that game on hold because the rain was about to come down. Luckily, the rain never came down. Justin was able to get 5 innings out, and the team was able to pull off a W. This is wild to hear to me, though. When we're talking about Justin Verlander, somebody who's most likely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Easily one of the best pitchers of this decade, if not this era. And he was 0-8 coming into this. 0-8. Now, mind you, his ERA was coming into this game was a 4.99. It's a 4.7 right now. It was a 4.99 before yesterday. And the Giants haven't exactly been helping him. On average, when he pitches, it's about 2.5 runs. So you're not helping the guy any. He hasn't exactly gotten help from the last couple teams he's played on, to be fair. So do you think this kind of alters his home or Hall of Fame status, especially as a first balloter? Because right now we haven't seen the Justin Verlander we were used to when he was playing with the Tigers. What are your thoughts, my friend?
I like it. I think just get that bad juju off you, and I think it's still I think he's still a first ballot, but
It's like Paul Skeens at this point. It's so sad. Paul Skeens has the lowest ERA in baseball, and the Pirates can't win for him. And it's like, what is going on? Like, why can we not back these best pitchers? Or I'm sorry, these pitching aces, I should say. It just baffles me. I mean, you're the Giants. You paid all this money to get Justin to come play there in his final years of his career, I would assume.
42 years old.
Yeah, he's getting there. And I realize that age comes for us all. I've been the first one to say that. But an 0 for 8 start, 17 starts overall. Oy.
Hopefully it'll put some fire back in him.
I'm just saying. Well, I hope it puts some fire back in him as well. But I'm just saying that this might actually alter his status, or at least his stock in the Hall of Fame numbers, because the writers are going to bring this up.
Oh yeah.
When his name finally comes up on the board, although he will be highly coveted because of his play, obviously before this year. But I'm just going to say, like, I don't know if he's going to be a first balloter anymore. I really don't.
You don't think so?
After the play with the Mets and now with the Giants?
What if he goes on a streak right now?
He could turn it around. You're right. I'm not going to say he can't, but at this point,
I'm trying to think the positive. I think, get that bad stuff off you. Now just think of it. 1-0.
If we're playing this Rich Eisen wise though, and he retires today, you can't sit there and say that his stock wouldn't be hurt. You know what I mean? Like if we went by Rich Eisen's rules, he'd be hurting. But you're right. He turns us around, maybe ends the season 8-8, something like that. Goes on a hell of a run, ends with like dang near 200 strikeouts. It's not going to happen, but I mean, you never know. And then this is a completely different conversation. But it's wild to me that we were talking about Justin Verlander, who at one point was the most feared pitcher in baseball. And I mean, it's the same. Like I said, I could say the same thing about Max Scherzer when they were both playing for the Mets. We thought that was going to be the craziest 1-2 tandem they'd ever seen. And we're talking about a team that had Syndergaard and DeGrom at one point. And neither of them did anything and haven't done anything since.
What do you guys think? You think Verlander's still a first ballot Hall of Famer? Let us know at 842-2000.
Now, you know who is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, tell them after the break. I got somebody banging on the door behind you.
Uh-oh.
But we'll take our break and we'll be right back right here on the Early Bird Special.
was kind of curious if we were going to keep the Aussie going today.
I wasn't gonna. But we had a text this morning that made me laugh, so I had to throw it in there. But updated story with the Justin Fields. Jets came out and said it's a right toe injury that he's still being examined. So
No, it won't be that bad then. Maybe he just broke his toe. Which, I mean, that's still what, 6-8 weeks?
better than
Yeah, it's better than an ACL injury.
yeah. So it might be a better outlook at the end of the day, but we'll keep you posted.
Okay, so Kirk Cousins is probably. Dang it! But it
I
is what
thought
it
you
is.
were starting to love this guy.
Huh? No. Well, again, I love him as a person. He's a great, great individual. That's what makes me hate the fact that I don't want him on my team. I don't want him on my team just because the cap hit. Like, if we could figure out somebody to take the money away from it, I wouldn't really care.
I mean, what happens when Penix goes down or comes out rusty?
Yeah, that's fair too. Again, it's all up in the air, man. We just
It could be better. I mean, it could be worse. It could be
be way worse.
Mike White. Who
Well,
knows?
Mike White looked good for some teams, just not others. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the just like I say about playing for the Dodgers and stuff like that. Some people can do it, some people can't. It's just the way things roll. I'm sorry.
Well, 350.
350. The next Hall of Famer we got to talk about, of course, Bryce Harper. Who else? I mean, come on now. Besides Kyle Schwarber, I mean, the biggest bats on Philly's lineup. 350 home runs yesterday. I'm sorry, not yesterday. In his career was hit yesterday.
That'd be a hell of a day.
I know, right? Bryce is just a stud, man. It makes me wonder though, because obviously his timetable is much smaller than others. Can he get to 400? I would say yes, obviously with the route he's getting to. Can he get to 5? Eek. Ooh. Eek.
I don't think so.
I'm not going to get that crazy. But where do you think that his career number kind of ends at? I'm going to say somewhere in the 450 range. I think that's kind of a fair number for Bryce.
I mean, I was a little, maybe 420, 430.
I think he's got 100 left in him. He's got way more than 100. Let's be honest. He's got pop in the bat for the rest of his life. But when you really look at the numbers and how much he's got left in the tank, how many years he's got left, I mean, I could be talking way off base. He could have another 6 years left in him for all I know.
And maybe we see the 500.
And then we see the 500-600. But we're talking about guys like Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. I'd say Bryce Harper retires today. Wouldn't call him a first balloter just yet. He's got to win something first. But if he inevitably wins, as everybody hopes he does in Philly, he would probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't dispute the first ballot. I mean, even without a championship, just I think the name recognition and what he's done for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I mean, I would have to talk about it.
Although, speaking of Bryce
it
Harper,
could be.
Did you hear about the story that D. Gordon shared on a podcast not too long ago about what the league did to him after he took the batting title away from Bryce Harper one year?
What happened?
So again, I wish I had the audio. I'm gonna have to go back and find it for tomorrow. D. Gordon, longtime shortstop, speed threat, and I believe he played for the Dodgers for a long time. So you Dodger fans will remember this guy. It is, oh God, I can't remember what year it was. Bryce was on the way of getting a triple crown. Essentially, he was getting the hat trick. He was going to get the batting title, the home runs, and the RBIs. D, though, in his last game, was right there with him. And I think he was given the options like, hey, you should not do that. You know what I mean? Like, let him win it kind of a thing. But he didn't listen, went like 2 for 3 and ended up beating him out by like minuscule numbers, but he still took the batting title from him. Next year, he gets popped for PEDs. And a whole bunch, and he's like, I've never taken a PED in my life. Look at me. It's like, I'm skinny. Like, what do you think I took? And it's like, I don't know how truthful that is, but there was for him to go to a podcast and say that and at least throw that shade out there at the league, that's some wild accusations.
It was like the same story I sent you yesterday that Flail sent over of the Teague talking crap about LeBron on a podcast, of course,
and claiming he took human growth hormone and all this other stuff. Look, man, I'm not going to say these stories are fake. I'm not going to say these stories are true. I don't know what the truth is, so I'm not going to speak out of turn here. But these are wild accusations to be throwing out here. And if they want to take legal action, they totally could. They absolutely could. Because if you can't prove that, that's technically defamation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but what
Especially
if
as
he
an
could?
athlete. Now, if he could prove it, then
I
obviously
mean,
this
what would that would
destroys.
do to LeBron's?
Yeah, if we're talking Jeff Teague and he could prove that LeBron takes all that, then obviously that destroys LeBron's entire credibility
Whole
as an
legacy.
athlete and his entire legacy, 100%.
People
But-
would riot.
But if you can't prove that,
Yeah.
and you run with this story,
Mhm.
or obviously I would assume the LeBron camp would reach out and tell them, hey, take that off, cease and desist, or we're going to take legal action, because that is defamation. That is 100% defamation as an athlete. But that's what I'm saying, is that like these podcasts are allowing athletes to share these stories, whether they're true or not. I'm not 100% sure, but it is starting to really open some eyes and at least turn some heads towards, are these true? Because if they're not, why aren't we getting some defamation lawsuits on a lot of this?
Those are the best ones too, where you can
Mhm.
actually hear what it was happening behind the scenes in the locker rooms with these players.
Well, that's what everybody wants to hear.
Of course.
We all want, just like we were talking about with the WWE and this show that's coming out, Unreal. We would, or at least I shouldn't say we, a good portion of us who are fans would love to see what's going on behind the scenes and how all this works, because we've never been let in on that before. Like, this is a uncharted territory. It's the same with the basketball. Like when we watched The Last Dance, you got a first look at what happened at practice with the Bulls too, not just what
On
we
the
saw.
flights and yeah.
Not just what we saw every day on ESPN or in front of the media's eyes stuff. No, you saw behind the scenes stuff, how these guys actually talk to each other.
The gambling.
Yeah, the betting that Michael would do with the staff workers and the guy who, all that type of stuff. It's enticing to people.
Playing quarters.
That's why I'm curious though how true these stories are, because we hear about all this stuff well after the fact. If that ends up being true about LeBron and the HGH thing, I'm not going to say it is, because anybody can come out and say, oh, this guy took steroids. Do you have proof of it, dude? Do you really have proof that LeBron took HGH?
Yeah, and all he was saying is that he was taking it, and when it was time for him to test, he had a back injury and was out for 3 weeks. And when he came back, he was skinny and lost a ton of weight. So they were like, it's obvious. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have any proof. Unless you are in the bathroom when he's doing it, you don't got anything. You have no, legs to stand on. So
and that's what I'm saying. It's like, so you got to tread carefully when it comes to these stories, because a lot of them, although don't get me wrong, clickbait 110%. Everybody would love to hear the truth about it, but just one athlete speaking about it, I'm not 100% sure. But much like the D Gordon situation with Bryce Harper, don't know exactly how much truth there is to that. Would we really be surprised the league punished a player for going out of their way to take away something that would have been historic? No.
Well, they won't do that in baseball.
Oh, never. No, they haven't done that in the past, right?
Bring them back.
Shoot. Going back to all of this, the 350 home runs, because technically that's where we all started here. Bryce hitting 350 is nice. We're going to see a whole ton more from him. But should he still be in the conversation with guys like Shohei and Aaron Judge as some of the best bats in baseball? Because, although injury riddled a little bit this year, didn't get the nod in the All-Star game, much like Trey Turner and a whole bunch of other players on the Philly roster who were not happy about it. But we don't really hear his name anymore, just because we've seen now two generational talents that have really just gone above him. Because Bryce, when he came in as the young talent, was that generational talent. But now we've seen guys like Shohei and Aaron Judge who have just taken that bar and leaped way higher. Because as much as I love Bryce Harper, I'm not expecting Bryce Harper every single time he comes up to the plate to mash a home run anymore. Doubles, sure. Key at-bats and clutch at-bats every single time, 100%. But when you really look at a guy like Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge, anytime that bat touches a baseball, it's gone. And out of the stadium gone. So it's kind of, it's overshadowed him in a way. Don't you feel?
Yeah. I just love the guy. So I can't say anything bad. I think with age, and he might have, I don't think 5 or 6 years, but it's a whole different conversation when you bring up Judge and Otani. It's like the same thing when I bring up Cal. I love the guy, and I think his career is going to be epic. But when you were talking, the main leaders of baseball, anyone and everyone will either start the conversation with Judge or Otani.
Absolutely. And I mean, Bryce is turning 33 this year. So again, baseball players at least hitting powerfully into their late 30s, early 40s doesn't happen very much. Can Bryce keep up his power? We'll see. I think guys like him and Kyle Schwarber probably could, just because they're that athletically talented. But the amount of injuries that Bryce has had to take, the amount of pitches that this guy takes to the body, because for some reason, everybody loves to throw a pitch at Bryce Harper's hands every single time. And I'm like, dude, can we not hit him in the arm or something if you have to? I don't like my players being hit. Don't get me wrong. But every time this guy gets hit by a pitch, it's right there in the hand, and it's the bad hand. And that's going to ruin his career. We already had to move him to first base because he can't play his natural position anymore. So it's one of those situations where it's like, it makes me wonder how much longer Bryce has, but I would love to see him eclipse that 450 number at least. Like I said, 500, let's not get crazy. He'd probably need at least another 6 years for that. But it would be great to see if he could play into his late 30s and maybe eclipse that number and maybe make me look stupid.
Well, we've got our texts stacking up, and you can text in anytime at 661-842-2000. We'll get to our text before we bring in Kenny Calvin from BC. We'll talk a little BC football at 8 o'clock when he comes in right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. Final segment of the first hour. We got our guy Kenny Calvin from BC joining us here in a little bit. Talk football and BC Renegades. Real quick though, let's get to the text messages. I know we got a couple. 661-842-2000. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, you can text in at any time during the show.
This first one is the one I was going back with the Aussie. Said, homie texted me last night, said, sorry, Whitey, I could tell you you Pell people love you some Aussie. Driving around in my my job today, and I just hear Aussie in every Crackers car.
Oh my gosh. Look, man. You know what's funny is I saw a meme that actually made me laugh. It said, check on your white friends today, because apparently losing Ozzy was like us losing Tupac. Yeah.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Yeah. That's pretty dang close.
I don't know. The Biggie one hurt me too. So
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, neither of them are really good examples, though, because both of those men were taken from us way too early, and Ozzy got to live his life out. So I don't know if it's really a great comparison, but in terms of impact, sure, 100%. Ozzy is Tupac.
This next one says, there's another loss to the Mariners, Sparky.
Again,
how about them Dodgers?
You're gonna get grief for this forever.
All right.
Just so you know,
We'll see.
so you know, I don't even get grief for it anymore. This is the great part, and I was the one that everyone hated at first.
The next one says, hey, I really think that the NFL needs to consider not doing as many football games on soccer fields. I watched the Green Bay Packers Eagles game last year when they played in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
The field was trash, and the slipping and sliding, the no grip on the turf. I was surprised that there were no injuries.
Well, again, it's a completely different surface, right? I mean, I know obviously in a high school sense, it's the same field, but when you're really looking at a professional football field against a professional soccer field, I'm sure the grasses are two different things. The cuts are two different things. The cleats that you'd be using for both are different as well. So it's not a great surface to play on. You're 100% right on that.
In $1 billion sport where teams are paying, close to $300 million for their roster, you would think they would want to take care of their prizes, their players, their team.
You would think that, but again, just like baseball, some owners and some organization runners would like to do it at a valued rate, at the best way to put it. Something that they can make money off of at the same time. So I
wouldn't be surprised, especially with all the drama going on with the NFL and the NFLPA right now. That might be thrown into the next meeting once they get picked out.
Especially if something ends up happening with MetLife again and we get some sort of injury. We honestly, thank goodness Justin's injury is not something severe. And honestly, Aaron Glenn came out and said that it's too early to say how severe it really is. It is a toe injury, though. So thank goodness it's not an ACL. But at this point, you're still going to have all the grief from the media. If you'd fix that turf, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
What are you going to lose another quarterback?
Exactly. So here we go.
Speaking on the Jets, this one says the Jets have Tyrod Taylor, and he fits the type of offense that they're trying to run in New York.
Absolutely. But at the same time, do you really think the Jets are going to just stick with Tyrod Taylor?
No.
Has any team stuck with Tyrod Taylor? The Chargers didn't even stick with Tyrod Taylor when he was doing good with them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a freak accident, obviously, with the doctor who punctured his lung. Still, how that ends up happening, I'm not sure. But it is what it is. Things happen, and we move on from them. But again, I love Tyrod. I'm just saying the Jets might be shopping if the injury is that severe. Because now, this was when we thought, obviously, this was an ACL injury. We were just hearing it was a lower leg, and he was carted off the field. Those two usually lead to ACL, MCL, meniscus, something severe that will keep him out all year. A toe injury, you're probably just looking to be out all of preseason and more than likely the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, depending on if it's broken or strained or what the issue is.
And I believe they said it says right. So that would be the main one he runs on. Yeah. The other text says, when will you guys be talking fantasy football? Will you guys be doing picks each week like you used to?
Yes.
And are you even thinking about opening up a fantasy league for you guys and your listeners?
Fantasy league, we have not actually dabbled in yet, although that could be a possibility down the line.
I know a couple years ago we played the fantasy where you can pick your players each week.
I think that is more what we're going to go with. Maybe your underdog situation where you could play with us at the same time if you would rather go that route. But as far as a full-on fantasy league, we have not actually dabbled.
I don't want to take our listeners' money.
No, not like that. Not like that. Plus, you guys get mad at us, and then we'll get evil text messages saying how mean we are.
You're taking my lunch money.
Exactly. It's like, he took my favorite player during the draft. Well, sorry, you didn't take him fast enough. That's not my fault.
And the last one says, when are you guys gonna release your top 10 in fantasy football?
Actually, we were talking about doing that potentially tomorrow because we have a handful of stories we were going to get to that were fun stories. But that was something that we were floating in there. So you'll potentially hear that on the show tomorrow, if not early next week, because fantasy football is right around the corner.
My phone's getting blown up. When is the league? When's the draft?
Hey, man, football's back next week. I know it's the Hall of Fame game and not a lot of us are going to be watching, but it's next week.
Well, maybe that'd be perfect for next week then.
I'm just saying. So we'll see how it goes. I think we'll maybe start it off tomorrow or get to you guys next week on that. But we will start talking fantasy sports here, especially fantasy football, because that is one of our biggest expertise here.
Well, if we're going to wrap up the hour, we talked a lot of baseball, but we didn't give any love for the Rockies.
Yes. Who finally, they
got their first shutout.
Pulled off a shutout. Finally.
First time in 220 games.
These numbers with the Colorado Rockies are starting to get just startling. 200 games. You realize that's a whole season? For those of you who don't watch or pay attention to baseball, that's a whole season plus.
Yeah, and more, yeah.
Like, can you oh my gosh. Like, we were talking about Justin Verlander. His last win was when he was an Astro. That's how long that was. But at this point right now, I'm just like, someone's got to save the Rockies. Just pull up Ethan Holiday already. Just do it.
I always give my friend Shauna crap because I have my Kiss shirt that she got at the Rockies Stadium.
Yeah.
So I'll wear it every once in a while, and I get so much grief. I'm like, I'm not a Rockies fan, fool. Calm down. But I did get to stop by our friend over at Two Goats and a Goose last night. Gave her a big hug and got my popcorn pork to go. And we're hoping to get some gift cards ahead of football season. But yeah, she's also, I had to hear a ton of Justin Fields, Ohio State love last night because she is a diehard.
Has she adopted the Jets? Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Has she? Okay.
So I immediately had to text her this morning about
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen when I saw all the Ohio State players on that team. I was like, oh, I know exactly who's going to be a Jets fan next year. And all the more power to her. I hope the Jets do well.
I don't, but
I know, but they're in your division, so it's understandable.
They just suck. They're the Jets.
I've never really hated on the Jets. Like I said, if you played for the Jets, especially at the quarterback position, I give you a pass. Mark Sanchez, I loved Mark Sanchez as a USC quarterback. He was a great Jets quarterback too until the butt fumble. Let's be honest. A couple AFC championship games to Rex Ryan. He wasn't the best, but he was at least good enough to get you there.
He was a fit.
And he ran into Tom Brady both times. So had he ran into anybody else, it would have been a different situation. That's how I'd say. We're going to take a break. On the other side, Kenny Calvin with BC. This is the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Early Bird Special Hour 2. And as we just told you last hour, football is back, baby. We're right around the corner from the NFL starting up. College ball is right around the corner as well.
And I'll take this from my boy Kenny Calvin. Boom!
You don't do it right. You don't do it.
Of course not, but I do it. You know, my dad watching Dolphin games growing up, we always did the boom, yo. And we haven't had a lot of booms in the Dolphin country for a while. So running between me and Burdick for the last 15, 20 years, running these BC games.
That's all you hear.
If you're the only one in the whole radio station running a BC game and you hear Kenny's boom,
it's like, oh, we scored.
Oh,
Sweet.
yes.
I got to run back to the board.
Things are going well.
Kenny Calvin is with us here in studio. Sir, how are you?
Oh, it's beautiful, guys. Thanks for having me in.
Absolutely.
Honor to be with you guys.
So, I mean, football season's here. Football season's upon us. You and Ryan Chavez are obviously going to be back for BC football. How are you guys feeling? How's the season look?
Well, me and Renegade Rob, we excited. You know, we had our first media meeting last week with our interim AD, Miss Carly Flowers. Shout out to Carly and Todd Hansen. But definitely excited. Rob's on vacation in the Bahamas right now.
Wow,
so
must be nice.
Yeah.
God, couldn't take us with him? Shoot.
Right.
Must be nice. Well, okay, so I know I asked you this off air, but I know you don't have a specific number, but shout out some guys who we got returning this year to the team.
Oh, man, we got Xander Polito returning. We actually got Daniel Bubba Nettles. He was one of our biggest backs last year. Actually did a great job just continuing to get us those third down conversions out of the backfield, nice passes out of the backfield. Defensively, we definitely got some monsters coming back. Miles Poole was one of our best defensive ends. He's going to be a great addition to Coach Tyler Thompson's focus on defense. And we got to really mention that new coach coming in, right?
Absolutely.
He's a defensive guy. I can't talk about the team without talking about that defensive line that's going to be continuing to lead on that side of the football.
And you know what? Defense wins championships, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to get it started on that side of the ball before you can get anything.
Yeah, you got my vote on that. I mean,
yeah, defensive last year was what won us games last
Absolutely.
year. So I'm excited for this season.
Right. I mean, we talked last season, you know, everybody wants to win 10 games a year, right? That's the goal. But, you know, last year we had maybe 5 games that we lost by less than 12 points, right? You know, that tells you're playing some good football every week.
Absolutely.
The problem last year was the inconsistency at quarterback.
100%.
You know, and me and Steve and you guys would sit here in our studio for road games, and you could see the frustration of us being in games every week defensively, keeping us in the game and just not being able to convert offensively. So that's what I'm excited to see too, having a nice quarterback in 2 guys, because you have a surprise in Carson Woods coming back and joining Malachi Statler, who also had an amazing second half of the season after he was able to be the guy, right? So having those things with a defensive mind like Thompson and the rest of the guys that are coming back, you definitely have an opportunity to have some great things happen.
Are we going to see a 2-quarterback system like we saw last year, or are they going to focus on one of these guys?
Are we going to get us a competition here?
And are we seeing iron sharpens iron?
You know, I actually hate 2-quarterback system.
That's why I was curious.
You know,
I mean, I've heard you say it on the air, so I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work out.
Right. It's one of the things for me that really, you know, as a defensive guy, you just want to hope that the offense has it all figured out as a player, right? This is me talking as a player. You hope that, all right, we do our job and they got it all figured out. Last year, we had no idea who was going to be the quarterback at any certain drive.
True.
So with Carson Woods coming back, that is something that I, as a defensive guy, like, oh, are we going to figure it out? Who's going to be the guy? But when you got 2 guys like that, man, that's a nice problem to have.
Absolutely. No, it is. I mean, and speak to both of them. You've seen both of these guys play. So, like, what are the differences you get from Malachi that you don't get from Carson and vice versa?
No, what the joy I have in having those 2 guys on our roster is that I covered them through their high school careers at Kern High Network, right? Carson Woods for Liberty, state champion. Malachi Statler, stud, right?
Absolute stud.
One of the best games I ever called in high school was his game versus Central, where they were going back and forth.
Yes.
And it was a wire-to-wire finish where Central won by 1 touchdown. But watching that kid since he was a sophomore, he's one of the most consistent quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like on my top 5 of all time, I actually put that kid in there.
Wow.
Top 5 Bakersfield quarterbacks of all time.
He's
Really?
not kidding. When I covered and did games for Garces, every time Garces went up against Malachi, I said, "Oh, this is going to be a barn burner.
Yeah,
This kid's going to throw something 50 yards down the field, look like Derek. It's going to look nice too." It was incredible to watch.
Right, he was incredible. I mean, he had guys like Malcolm Watson and all those tall guys that he was throwing to, right? But as a high school kid, I saw him being this quarterback that was just ready for the big league. So to have 2 guys like that, it's a nice problem to have.
100%.
But they're going to compete so much at any time. You can have that 2 quarterback system, man. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out as well. So shout out to Coach Dean and Coach Paul who have to deal with that problem.
I mean, again, it's a great problem to have regardless of which way you go. Both of these guys are studs and are local boys, so you got the fans behind you with either choice.
Right.
Personally, I love Malachi, so I'm in Malachi's corner with this one.
And I think he's earned it, right?
I think
you know
so
what
too.
I mean?
But at least the starting nod to start the season. If it ends up being rough like it was last year, then maybe you make an adjustment.
Right. I agree with that.
I mean, 6-5 was the record last year. We're opening up the season with a great game. How are we looking with the rest of it? I know our first home game is Allen Hancock, correct?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So how are we looking
That's
this
our first
year?
home game.
Yeah.
Yeah, first home game.
Yeah.
And what's exciting about that, we have Coach Cameron, former Renegade player who was the head coach at Allen Hancock previously before coming over to lead our offense, right? So what a beautiful thing for him to have an opportunity to host his former team at the house. That's going to be beautiful. I traditionally had some amazing battles versus Allen Hancock. I don't know if you guys heard this story.
Oh, yes.
Sophomore year, we beat them 50-48, and I won on a fake punt touchdown.
Nice.
There you go.
Right? So historic battles between that program and ours. Great way to start the home campaign.
Right.
We have some amazing stuff coming up for the home season.
Share it, please.
Let's get to some of that. Let me pull it up real quick.
Because I mean, last year we were BC, the Renegades, I believe, were 4-1 last year at home.
Yep.
Couldn't lose. I mean, that was the one thing you knew. If they were at home, they were going to pull off a W.
Right. I mean, and we love the community coming out to support. Like that's the one thing that Bakersfield College does a great job of. Is the community engagement. So let's talk about some of the special nights, right? So the scrimmages are the Thursday the 21st. We'll host Kalinga and Reedley. Saturday, September 6th, our first home game will be the Allen Hancock. That'll be first responders night. Always love celebrating the first responders in our home openers. Just something about seeing the fire department right across the street from campus, having a huge flag set, and we have so many former Renegade players who are part of the first responder community.
Absolutely.
You get all of that influx of all the former alumni coming up to support the school and the process. Is beautiful. Next up, we got September 20th. That's going to be education night. And like I said, I work for the district now, so that's a beautiful thing. We'll host Golden West that weekend. Homecoming is going to be amazing. We actually just finished voting for our 2025 inductees. That's basically nailed down. I wish I could tell you guys.
I was about to say, you're going to drop some names for us?
You know what? Only Jewel I can drop because I know that we can't say the individuals because all of them haven't been notified. But our 1978 state championship basketball team is going in.
Nice.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing because my uncle Manuel Calvin, who passed away a couple years ago, he was one of the MVPs of that team along with my uncle Dean Jones, former USC Trojan and Hall of Famer as well. So that's going to be an amazing night to see them be celebrated.
Absolutely.
That homecoming. And
fantastic.
Yeah, we host Cerritos that night. Next home game will be Ag and Energy Night on the 25th, East LA. And
I love those games.
Ag and Energy Night.
One of my first games I was probably 10 or 11, and we played them. And we had a big turnout. It was packed. And we were sitting by some family of the East LA team, and they were pissed.
Look, man, it's a perfect opportunity for Bakersfield to beat up on LA finally because they give us enough as it is. especially in the media. So if we could beat you up in college football, that's exactly how we're going to get our licks back.
Absolutely. I love beating up on the LA schools. You know, I mean, I work in the film and music sector too, so I get to tease a lot of those guys that I played against a long time ago. But
What don't you do, dude?
I know, really. You're all over the place.
hey, I'm a true Renaissance man,
That's
man.
right.
This is what kept me sane and safe as a kid in Bakersfield, California.
Yeah,
You know, you
music
got to
will
stay
do that.
busy, man.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then what were the last couple games that we got?
Oh, the last home game will be the November 1st contest versus Orange Coast College, and that'll be Veterans Night. You know, I'm a father of 2 Army sons. My dad was an Army guy. Rest in peace, pops. Only reason I didn't go Army is because of my NFL pursuits.
Naturally.
But love Veterans Night. It's a great way to end the regular season and just brings the community together. Like I'm getting goosebumps just reading through what we get to do every week as a home campaign.
Absolutely. Every home game is going to be something special to go check out. So where can people go and find tickets too, by the way?
You can go to gogaze.com and get tickets. You know, also one of the things I love to do is sponsor tickets for low-income families and people who don't get to come out. You know, so my unified company and campaign loves to sponsor any family. So if you can't get tickets on gogaze.com or you don't have a student ID to get in free like most students, feel free to contact us at Unify as well, and we'll make sure you guys get tickets.
Fantastic. And then before we let you go, obviously we got to talk outside of just BC football, but football in general. How are you feeling for the NFL season coming up?
Oh man, you know, like I said, I played for the Cardinals. I grew up a Raider fan.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm excited for the Raiders, man.
You mean the Seahawks?
Yeah, it's like so you're excited for this entire
Oakland
Seahawks?
the Las Vegas Seahawks. Yeah, I'm excited, man. If anybody can right the ship, you know, you bring in a tenured guy in Pete, and his character and charisma just lightens the load, man. There's so much pressure in the NFL locker room and practice field that sometimes the young coaches are too busy trying to be friends.
Right.
Like I come from the cloth of Coach Chudy and you know, my coach Jimmy Red Parker, late great Clemson national champion coach, right? Like grinders that didn't care if your mom's in the stands.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to tell you what you need to hear, right? I think that's what the NFL is missing, and that's why so many guys are getting in trouble and misguided.
Just talking about that, like what is going on, whether it's the speeding or the assaults. I mean, it's not a week goes by. We were used to just doing 1 day a week, but now it's so much going on in the off season, and I'm like, maybe they need to find some music or stay off social media or whatever. Stay away from the Lamborghinis.
That's the big thing. Stay away from the fast cars at this point, because everybody just wants to go buy one right after their first season and just fly down the freeway going 150.
And how many times do we as media personalities wake up and we see another kid drunk driving or with an accident or, you know, whatever's happening in the nightlife, like, and we have classes that we go to as NFL guys to talk about those things as new players, right?
Okay, so they do have that for newer players.
Absolutely. Okay. It's the worst part of training camp that you have to sit through. It's like being in school again, right? You know, and you're sitting here and you're getting all of this information that you're like, oh man, hurry up and stop talking. But everything that you should have been listening to and ignored happens to you as soon as you leave.
That's what I was thinking in my head. It's like, dude, it's essentially just their version of the safety trainings for everybody else.
Safety trainings just like work.
Oh god.
So as a former football player, you know, what we're seeing a lot of injuries. Is it the conditioning? Is it the turf versus, you know, the fields, or do you think it's more a little of both? Because we're seeing it in a lot of sports, not just football.
Yeah, a lot of non-contact injuries.
I mean, we woke up this morning, started the show with the Justin Fields injury, non-contact, went down, and luckily we got to hear later that it was a toe injury, but it still was non-contact, and everybody knows about the Jets field,
right?
Because we've seen a lot of players just drop.
Yeah, and that's the catch-22, because you know we love the artificial surfaces because we feel faster as players. Like I mean, you feel like you're floating in air as you're running, but the cutting and the movements are the things that usually naturally happen with the non-contact injury. So, but I think it's twofold, because I was a guy that as a senior in college, I thought I had it all figured out. wasn't working out as much as I needed to on my lower body. Yeah, everybody works out upper body, right? But you're not squatting. You're not doing a lot of the lower body
You were
work.
skipping leg day. What's going on?
Leg day, right? And then all of a sudden your knee gives out, right? Those are the things that I think about based on what I knew I didn't do as a player, right? And I wish I did better. So it is a catch-22 there as far as
everything.
Yeah, a little of everything. You have to have the right mentality as a player off the field and work as hard as you can to keep your body in shape. You have to avoid the alcohol and smoke and
naturally
and a lot of those things that we don't
nightlife.
think affect us. Yeah. The nightlife, staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you go to work out tomorrow because you're just this natural athlete, and all of a sudden your body doesn't respond the same way. And that's where the injury comes from. So
I mean, we saw the same thing in basketball this year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw so many big name athletes just drop.
Like,
I
never
don't know
before.
if it was forcing too much on their bodies, you think, or is it just the luck?
Steven, you hit the nail on the head. Think about the pressure that was associated with Halliburton trying to stay on the court to get it done. And he's not taking care of his body in the sense of, oh, all right, I'm already strained, I'm injured, but I'm here now, and I think I need to go ahead and power through. That's really no different than, the other instances where you may have just been partying and hanging out because you're just really just going above and beyond in that instance, and it's probably just not the right decision for your body at the time. Sometimes our mind overpowers our body. We think we can do things, and our body reminds
Superman
us.
when you can't. I get it. And I mean, sadly, he's going to have to miss a whole other season now just because he forced it.
When he just talked about that on the McAfee show too earlier this week, that he was claiming his knee felt great going into the game, that he thought he was over the injury and it just kind of happened. But that's why I was making the point earlier in the show, is that I don't know if it's the lack of rest these guys are giving themselves, or if it's, like you said, they're going out and partying when they really should be, working out or resting or doing something to actually take care of themselves. But there's some sort of disconnect that these athletes have now that they didn't have back then.
That's what makes guys like LeBron so special. Right. Like, I mean, I'm a Jordan guy. I wore 23 because of Jordan. Right. But when I look at LeBron, it's like, wow, this dude, you don't really hear about him having too many drinks or smokes or nights out without focus, right? And he ends up being a guy that's 20 plus years with no injury, and like, it matters. Like, rest matters, sleep matters, taking care of your body matters.
And I think it is guys like that. We see the same thing with like Ohtani and other sports, that they know their body because they work year round. Like, there's no off season. Yeah, you might not be on the court playing 82 games or 160 plus games, but they work so hard in the off season that they know their body and maybe don't push it too much. And that I see the same thing with Ohtani, is how they're taking it real slow with him pitching. And they say, players like Ohtani, Jordan, LeBron, it's 366 days a year.
Right, Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe to top of the list.
So,
and I mean, that's year round.
Would it be safe to say we're chalking it up to discipline then being the major factor?
Absolutely. Like, and this is something that I'm wholeheartedly honest about. If I wasn't a guy that loved hip hop music so much, it was ripping and running in the spring every year of my career, I probably could have played 10 more years. Right. But it's the people who have the discipline to focus on that mission and just make it the mission. Yeah, they seem like weirdos, right? When they're going through the experience, isolated, not showing up to family events, but their focus on their goal and task at hand is second to none. And that's why they had a longevity. It's like a unicorn. It doesn't happen often, but when you see the guys that stick to the script, it usually works.
Yeah, and you got to respect it at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Well, then we have, what was the other question is, I know you and Rob are doing a little something special this year. You got a side show that we can tune into?
Well, we just got approval from Miss Flowers. Shout out to Miss Flowers.
I want to meet Miss Flowers. That's just a perfect. She seems to be behind you. So.
Yes, and this is what's so cool about Miss Carly Flowers. She's in a situation where she was the associate AD, and she comes in and things happen, and she has to be put into the seat to lead until something else happens. We're developing an opportunity to get back to something that was close to like my Renegade Report show, where we're meeting with coaches and players once a week on a Monday.
Nice.
And doing recaps, talking about things in the community. We're actually hoping to aim to set that at Rio Bravo Golf Course.
Nice.
You know,
okay.
And
couldn't pick a better place.
Oh, wow. They're doing some amazing things out there as well. You know, we have some amazing sponsors, you know, that'll be heading that show. But there's some pregame shows as well that other media personalities like Vance Palm and Titan Tom Myers will be helping out with as well.
Nice.
So what I love about what's happening on campus, along with the facilities, right? We just had the $16 million upgrades to the gym and all of this stuff. We wanted everyone to be focused on keeping our media up to speed as well. Like we were NFL level field, Division I level facilities. We need NFL level commentary and Division I level media support. So now that's what we're doing as far as getting ready to provide more content for you guys to help with your shows as well. You know what I mean?
Well, as you put it together, let us know, because we'll always help cross promote. We're big Renegade 100%. Fans. My final question before we wrap it up is the NIL. You know, and you know a lot about, you know, the smaller teams, and what do you think the overall effect of the NIL, the transfer? Is there some type of maybe a stamp that they need to change up where maybe players can't transfer every offseason, or and the smaller teams? Is there some type of maybe salary cap system that we need in college where not everybody just goes to the same 3 or 4 teams?
I'm smelling contracts in the future.
Maybe. Man, like it's so interesting, and like every time I hear NIL, I get jealous because I'm thinking I need my back pay. Right. But with our NIL collective, it's a unique experience. It's headed by 4 former Renegade businessmen. I was just asked
1913.
The 1913 collective.
We just had Hathaway on a couple weeks ago, pumping that up.
You know, and love hearing that name because he was my kicker as a Renegade. Right. And he reached out to me, hey Ken, you know, you do such a great job with everything. Do you mind doing this video for us? I'm like, yeah. I mean, if it's for the college and if everything's approved, let's go. You know, and just being able to get insight from people like that who are my teammates. Anytime they call, I'm going to help. But seeing what the results are already is a beautiful thing. Bringing kids in town who probably wouldn't have come here had they not had the NIL support, it just opens up the possibilities for the community and the city as a whole, because you're getting some quality individuals who are going to enter the workforce as Bakersfield College graduates. And that's the beautiful thing that I see out of the NIL collective as a whole. Now, as far as the overall scope for the country, you see that the president's trying to throw some things in there to where he's regulating and capping things. I think that there's a catch-22 with the NIL experience. You're losing loyalty from players, and it's turning into a chaotic situation where you don't know what your team's going to look like year to year for the bigger schools. But for us as a community college, that actually helps us, because now those guys realize that, well, hey, if I'm going to be shifted around, I'll just go to this amazing place called Bakersfield College that also has an NIL collective to prepare for my next journey. And that's
play out.
And that's exactly what kids like Carson Woods are doing, based on the fact that, hey, I've already went to the Division I experience. It wasn't what I thought it would be. Let me go ahead and come back and have support in an environment where I know I can be successful and still play big time football, and also possibly get some influx of funding to help me with my career while I'm saving money on tuition.
So on the logo side, it's actually bringing more opportunity for players like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just on our roster this year, I know for certain we have multiple players who were at Division I programs that decided to come back because of the extra years of eligibility and the NIL opportunities that exist. You know, multiple players. I believe we got a Jernigan back. And these are guys that were playing very well at the Division I level that chose to step back, and instant results of players stepping back down to the fold of the community college realm to seek that success. And know if those years aren't counting towards your overall eligibility, what are you losing?
Right, exactly. And honestly, with the NIL situation, the more money you can make with this stuff, while, like you said, setting yourself up in your career and getting your life going post football, it's an opportunity that most people would take at any point in time. So I can't say I blame any of them.
Beautiful opportunity. I mean, imagine being able to go to school and make six figures.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, like, come on, we had trouble making four figures.
Right. While getting some education.
Wow. That's what I'm saying is that, like, I love the NIL situation, but like we brought up earlier, just the fact that these kids can jump around from school to school and like just really the non-loyalty part of it, I think, is the issue.
That's the true issue for me too, as well, bro. Like, I went to, I played at 3 colleges, right? Not of my own choice.
Right.
But I take it back to the high school experience in the realm. You want to stay 4 years where you are, right? And then college, that was the goal. Back in the days, it was insane to think about hearing a player transfer during the year, right?
Absolutely.
Or, year to year. Now it's happening with some of the best players in the country jumping ship.
I mean, we just had, what was it? The Georgia quarterback just jump ship right now because he was getting more money offered to him at Oregon or something, wherever the heck he's at.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, you really left one of the top schools in the country just because of the money aspect of it. That's why I think contracts have to be coming in at some point. I
agree.
Because these schools aren't just going to be okay with offering you $5 to $10 million a year to come play for them. And then the next year you're like, I don't want to play for you anymore. And then just leave. And now they're high and dry with nothing to
I
live
agree.
For, you know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was thinking of the Tennessee players as well, like the brothers that you had that, the dad trying to negotiate for more money. And ends up costing his son millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, there's your cut, Dad.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the agents have to be coming in earlier at some point. But I mean, do you kind of agree with us as well? And we'll end on this, that some of these college players should be required to take financial courses if they're athletes, just so they know how to allocate this money.
Is that something that you get taught when you're getting into sports?
Not enough. Now it's more realistically happening.
Right. I believe someone texted and said Washington requires their players to go through it. Like, I think that's something that every sports team should have their athletes, especially if you're getting NIL money.
Right. We actually had, when I was a grad assistant in Louisiana at LSU, we had meetings. But they weren't courses, right? But it would be just a meeting where we had former players, former NFL guys come in and they talk to you about past mistakes and past situations. And it's more of a mentoring platform that players had an opportunity to go to to get that information and know, like, hey, guys, got to be careful. But it wasn't a structured system. So again, just like work orientations, you're in there. Some players are like, yeah, man, hurry up and stop talking.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm about to go out here and go to strip club, right? And that's where the accident happens, right? Right, and the incidents happen. But the players that get it, and that's the beauty of rewarding the guys that actually do things the right way and don't have these kind of issues and figure things out. And like I said, I wasn't this Cub Scout, right? I'm a football player in the fall, hip hop artist in the spring, my whole life, right? Since 12. But there was a point in my career where, I had to figure out, like, hey, do you really want to finish school? Like, do you really want to play your full tenure of college? Like, I had a year where I redshirted and was out of football in 96, 97 season, right? And I had people really coming up to me like, hey, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're one of the best players I ever seen, man. Why aren't you taking this stuff serious? I know you want to rap, dude, but hey, you're pretty good at rapping, man. But you're one of the greatest football players I ever seen, man. Like, pick a side. And those conversations that I had with people who really cared helped me finish. And I get goosebumps just thinking about it, because without people in your life that are going to have those conversations with you,
Right.
you lose your way. And I think that's the problem. We don't have enough villages
to keep them focused
for players to keep them focused. And many guys, when they move out of town to a new school, you're just there. You don't know I didn't know anybody in Arkansas, right? I just got off the plane and was picked up by coaches. So there's no discipline or people there to tell you to stay on it.
and that's usually when you meet the bad guys that get you into the troubles.
Yeah, come on, buddy. It's like the devil on your shoulder, right? Hey,
exactly.
Oh, you got time today? Don't worry about going to practice. Yeah, it's like the therapist on the Jordan Lucas album.
Oh Lord. Final. Since we talk Arkansas real quick, what are your thoughts on the 30-year-old coming back to play football?
Oh, I just saw that this week, man. The former baseball player going to play for the Hogs, man. Shout out to the Arkansas Hogs.
You think it's gonna work out for him?
Hey, you know what? I had a player on my team in Arkansas named Yarin and another player. These guys were special forces. Went to their respective armies. One was from, I believe one was from Switzerland and another was from Navy SEAL, right? From America. 2 guys on my college team in Arkansas that were 27 and 28 in 1997. Wow. So when I saw that story this week, I reflected back to my man Yarin and my other teammate, and I was like, wow, this is still happening. But when you got guys like that who've been athletes their whole lives,
right,
very disciplined, multi-skilled athletes, they have an opportunity to be successful and can still play at a high level. The sad thing is that they're doing it with kids that are 7 years younger than them.
That's exactly what he said too.
It's like,
I was like, it's not, you're going up against some 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Getting quick.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a situation where you better be awesome or you just turn into the joke on campus.
Absolutely. Well, Kenny, thank you for your time, my friend. As always, BC football right around the corner. So we will be with you as always, and hopefully talk to you a lot during the season, get you some updates about the Renegades.
Well, one thing I want to tell you guys is thanks for having me here today, but also thanks for the support that you give us throughout the season and helping us cover road games in the studio.
Always.
Without you guys doing that with the new format and how other colleges are bringing their own live streams in, a lot of our fans would be missing out on BC football. So I'm grateful for you guys, and I'm always one phone call away.
Absolutely.
Teamwork, baby. Well, just keep us in the loop in the upcoming changes, and we'll get you back here shortly. We appreciate your time, Kenny, and we're going to take our break right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. This is the early bird special.
Only show you'll hear Ozzy and Michael Jackson on the
Same.
same.
That's what I was just thinking in my head. I know we do Metal Mondays now. I was also thinking Michael Mondays. You also
Always
mix
down with
that up.
Michael.
That's what I'm saying.
Michael is metal.
Yeah, I mean, and yes, we realize who Michael is. We do not acknowledge that in the music realm.
I don't know who Michael is.
I don't know him as a person, so
I support my music.
exactly.
I don't care what they do. I mean, I do care,
I care.
but I don't follow what they do
Exactly.
outside the studio. So, but a big shout out to Kenny Galvin. Always good to see Kenny.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the show. I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, what do you mean? What else do we have? Oh, okay,
There's
cool.
more details coming.
And honestly, talking revenue with him, the NFL, it made me remember this story that we got to talk about too when it comes to the NFL, because we got our first look at the revenue sharing for the NFL for last year when the Packers released theirs. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Packers are the only publicly owned NFL team, which means they have to share their revenue and their reports with the public. It is required. You cannot keep those like most NFL teams would, because not a lot of owners really want you to know how much they're making with these teams.
Yeah, my buddy Justin has a small share with the Packers.
Absolutely. And
He's
honestly,
a cheesehead for sure.
if you live in Green Bay, I'm pretty sure you are gifted one. I'm 95% positive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure it's just a joke. But no, it's
it comes
not
with your
real.
cheese.
Yeah,
or
it exactly. It comes with the deed to your house. I mean, you get a small portion of the cheeseheads. No, it is a situation where if you are a Packer fan, you can buy into the team. Obviously, a lot of people that I know have done this, but in doing this, this actually helps us as fans and in the media, because now we actually get to see what these teams are making. Just to give you a little bit of a concept of how this works. 18 years ago, Mark Murphy gave his first financial report, says ESPN. Back then, they were making a revenue sharing of $138 million per team. That was 18 years ago. The one we got yesterday, the Packers made $432.6 million, which means dang near, if not all NFL teams, made $432.6 million last year in revenue sharing. That is after the first time ever the league topped 400 million last year at 402.3 million, which means they've gone up $30 million in a year. That is absurd amount of money. It is incredible. I mean, we talk about it all the time, how the NFL is really the greatest television program on TV. It genuinely is. There's nothing that beats it. And it's because of numbers like this. I don't think people really grasp how much money that is in revenue sharing for the teams alone. That means every single NFL team, all 30 plus of them, got $432 million for just being a part of the league.
I can't fix the field.
Thanks, MetLife. Well, I should actually, I won't blame MetLife for that. Thanks to the Jets. But regardless, where could this potentially be going in the next 3 to 4 years, you think? Are we going to reach 500 million in the next 2 years?
Yes.
I think we will.
Oh, yes.
I genuinely agree with you.
I wonder if a big jump, if states like California move forward with banning these betting, especially the cloud over fantasy, the NFL or a lot of sports, even the leagues that aren't making as much as the NFL, which is all of them, but like the NBA and stuff like that are finally cashing in on these fantasy sports betting apps, if that will take a toll, because I just still don't understand why California is banning sports betting. Like, how late are we going to be at this party when we have other states that are so far behind us and everything else, but you just have to put your foot down on California?
The reasoning behind it too is always so weird to me. Everybody gives their own reasons for it, and I get it. Most of you aren't into betting, or you're just, you're preserving your kids from it and saving them from it. I totally understand that. I get it. But like I said on the show, your kids are doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Your kids are doing it in schools.
There's ways to regulate it.
Like
Just
you
don't.
just stop them from being a part of it. Like if your kid's not going to bet, he's not going to bet. Like, and there's honestly, it's sports betting in general isn't a bad thing. I don't think. I really don't. I don't see the negative in it. I really don't. Now,
I mean, personally, just in my opinion, I go to Vegas. I don't gamble unless it's sports gambling.
exactly.
I'm just not that type that would sit there for 2 hours.
I'll sit at a slot machine for an hour and get free drinks given to me.
Exactly, but I'm not losing my rent on it, or I'm not.
I'm not going
yeah,
I put a $20 bill in this machine.
And if I get 40 out of it, I'm like, cool, cash out. I got lunch.
Minimal.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I agree with you. Like sports betting in general, if you're not destroying your life and betting your life away on this stuff, it's not detrimental. I don't see a problem in it. Now, obviously, there's always going to be the outliers who ruin their lives with certain things that they can't let go of. I mean, that's life. But I agree with you. California's attack on sports gambling and California's attack now on fantasy sports because it's seen as sports gambling, I find that to be absolutely absurd. But it is what it is because that's just the focus of the game is they want to take away what could potentially ruin your life, right?
Well, just going back to what you'd started the conversation with is how much the revenue is bringing in to the NFL and sports like this.
$13 billion as a league, by the way, in revenue sharing, if you were wondering how much this boils down to. Again, the NFL continues to be the absolute monster. And I agree with you that sports betting is helping with this because obviously you're getting more people to focus on the game while they're betting on it. But
well, they also have like every TV streaming.
Exactly.
Deal,
that's the point I was going to bring up. It's the streaming aspect of it all. It's the fact that they consistently evolve with the times. They are constantly they constantly have an ear to the ground of what their fan bases want, what their fan bases are saying and thinking. If something even nicks their revenue, they fix it right away. It's not a league that's just going to sit there and say it's okay, it's going to fix itself. We're this place. It's going to be okay.
They've got it down. I mean, they've got the hard knocks. They've got off season. They've got in season.
It's the perfect formula.
Yeah,
and that's why no one cares if the NFL wants to make more games. That's why no one cares if the NFL wants to expand because that means more football.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they're looking at more money.
Exactly. And right now they're making $13 billion. So why not make more? At this point, the NFL could become bigger than Disney. You realize that?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're looking at a 7% growth rate increase every year. That's their goal. But God, if they reach over and they are successful in different countries, say they put a team in Ireland. That's a random place, I realize. But say we decide Dublin deserves a team and London deserves a team and Mexico City deserves a team. You don't think that we're going to take over those countries too?
Yeah, Goodell, that's his whole eye is the international games.
I'm telling you right now, by the time I'm pushing daisies, the NFL will rule the sports world.
Even more.
Yeah, around the world.
Around the world.
We will be talking about American football probably in the same sense we will be talking about their football or cricket. I know obviously that's a wild thing to say right now because we're nowhere close. Let's be honest. You look at guys like Cristiano Ronaldo compared to Tom Brady, the vast following is way different. However, if the NFL is successful in the route they want to go, holy Hera, could we see a completely different monster in the world of sports?
Well, we'll take our final break. We'll wrap up the show, preview tomorrow's Friday Get Out of This Week show. And speaking of revenue, we've got some other interesting news about the NFL and ESPN right after this break on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM.
Looks like we have some other breaking news.
Okay. We were just talking about this on the Ralph Bailey show. They go in threes,
Yeah, they usually do.
and the third just dropped. Hulk Hogan has passed at 71 years old, says
Wow.
TMZ and multiple other sources. Wow. I mean, we were just talking about this the other day. A texter texted in that he was having issues with vocal cords. He couldn't speak. I mean, there were rumors that he was in a coma, but that was denied.
He had lost his voice, couldn't talk.
But wow, man. 71 years old. He was just trying to get the beer company off the ground. I mean, I feel like it was just a month ago he was on McAfee. That's wild. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. We know who Hulk Hogan is as a person, and unfortunately, it is not somebody that you should really idolize. But Hulk Hogan as a wrestler, and Hulk Hogan for what he meant to the industry, and what he meant to the just wrestling as a whole.
Childhood.
Yeah. Well, not
My childhood.
yeah. Your childhood more than mine. Yes. This is a wild drop. And like I said, they go in threes. We lost Theodore Huxtable just the other day
from the Cosby Show.
Cosby Show. I mean, wow. It was not expecting this at all. I'm sorry if you're watching the video stream and you noticed that my mouth was wide open when we came back because Sparky had just given me the news right before we hit. But yes, Hulk Hogan has passed at the age of 71. Says, I mean, TMZ, the New York Post. I know these aren't super credible locations, but when
popping out everywhere now.
Yeah, when multiple people are popping up with it. I mean, unless we get a social media video, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is true. So that is unfortunate for the world of wrestling. I wonder, is WWE going to do a tribute for him tomorrow?
Of course.
I would say yes. Obviously, they wheeled him out during the Raw's inaugural episode on
Saturday Night's Main Event, or was it Raw?
Oh no, was it Saturday Night's Main Event?
I'm not sure. It might have been the first
Raw.
Netflix. Yeah,
I think it was the first Netflix Raw because if I'm not mistaken,
right.
It was at the Inuit Dome and everybody booed him out of the stadium because it was LA and we were all saying, "Oh, well, of course it was because it's LA." But at this point, like I said, it just seems like a month ago he looked. I mean, he didn't look great. Don't get me wrong. He still looked like Hulk Hogan, though. I mean, you would expect him to look like that at 70, but we lost Ozzy, we lose Hulk Hogan, and we lose Theodore Huxtable. Wow,
I got to go to a funeral tomorrow, so it's been a rough.
That is
week or so.
This is a weird week. This is a very, very weird week in the world of pop culture and sports in general, and I'm shook. I'm not going to lie. I'm very shook. We had every intention of coming into this segment and talking about this deal between ESPN and the NFL. We now have no time to talk about that and run it down. So we'll talk about that more.
What's
tomorrow.
Your favorite Hogan match?
Probably him and Andre.
See, people always
it's everybody's favorite, I realize. But that's, again, I didn't grow up with him like you guys did. I grew up with him more as the actor than I did as the wrestler, which isn't saying much. Yeah, exactly.
Which one? Suburban Commando.
God, yeah, Suburban Commando was probably one of the first ones. Again, it's all a blur. They're all when you realize
movies.
When I'm looking at it and I'm like, why does he look like that? And then my uncle explains to me, well, he's one of the wrestlers that you like, but from a long time ago. And I said, oh, okay. And I looked at him and said, but he's not like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So why is he acting
what is this?
Like that? Like, I don't,
Mr. Nanny.
I never got it. I never got the whole
there's some horrible
real
movies.
American line. Like, I'm not gonna. Now, Hollywood Hogan, when he was with TNA and he was the bad guy, I could get behind that. I don't know why, but I was like, okay, that's the Hogan I can get behind for some reason. But the rest of it,
my favorite was him and Macho Man, or him and the Warrior.
Nice.
Those were great matches.
I don't know. Him and Andre is legendary.
I didn't like the Hollywood Hogan.
That entire
like
run,
spray
though,
paint his
NWO. Yeah, he had the really really bad.
The NWO.
They were doing everything they could, man. They had to save the WCW at the time.
But rest in peace, Hogan. That's a tough one.
71 years old. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Maybe give you a little bit of background on who Terry was at the same time. But this has been the Early Bird Special. Big thank you to our guy Kenny Calvin from BC for coming and hanging out with us. We'll get him in more as BC football continues this season. We got to get out of here though and get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.